Have you heard of Enoch's prophetic visions about the end times? These mysterious revelations, excluded from the biblical canon, offer a terrifying and profound perspective on humanity's fate and divine judgment. What did Enoch see in his visions? Why were these prophecies left out of the scriptures? Get ready to dive into the journey of one of history's greatest visionaries and uncover secrets about the end times that have remained hidden for millennia. Enoch, the prophet of visions. Enoch is one of the most enigmatic and visionary characters in apocalyptic literature. In his texts, he is not just a man who walked with God, but a prophet who received revelations about humanity's future and the fate of the righteous and the wicked. His work, especially the Book of Enoch, is filled with disturbing and detailed visions of the end times. Enoch's narrative, beyond its visionary nature, represents a powerful warning and a window into what he believed to be the truth about the divine judgment that would fall upon all creation. In the tradition of the Book of Enoch, his visions were granted to instruct and warn future generations. He saw supernatural realities and the events of the end times, such as the emergence of fallen angels, the advent of a final judgment, and the separation between the righteous and the unjust. The apocalyptic nature of these visions highlights essential themes that remain relevant, such as humanity's fate, divine justice, and the struggle between good and evil. Through these revelations, Enoch offers a narrative that explores the meaning of human life and the inevitable encounter with divine judgment. In his visions, Enoch contemplates the fate of the fallen angels who disobeyed God and corrupted humanity. This act of rebellion is portrayed as one of the great reasons for the apocalypse that Enoch predicts. His visions warn of the coming of a devastating judgment, a punishment that would not only affect the rebellious angels, but also the humans who succumbed to their influences. For Enoch, divine justice would not leave unpunished those who strayed, thus offering a dark yet just perspective on the end times. Enoch's prophecies go beyond a simple prediction of the future. They are detailed descriptions of events that he believed would inevitably occur as part of the divine plan. Enoch envisions a world where all beings face their consequences, whether they be of eternal blessings or perpetual condemnation. Amid these visions, Enoch also foresees the arrival of a messianic being, a redeemer who would bring peace to the righteous and victory over the forces of evil. This figure is central to his prophecy and has become a fundamental part of apocalyptic interpretations in later traditions. The rebellion of angels and the corruption of humanity. In one of Enoch's most well-known visions, he describes a celestial rebellion that would change the course of humanity. According to the account, a group of angels, called the Watchers, directly disobeys God and descends to earth, fascinated by the daughters of men. These angels not only engage with humans but also teach forbidden secrets, revealing knowledge that alters the balance of the world. For example, they teach about metals and forges, arts of war, astrological mysteries, and occult practices. For Enoch, this teaching corrupted humanity, leading it into a spiral of decay and violence. Enoch sees the transmission of this forbidden knowledge as an act of divine betrayal that ultimately leads to moral and spiritual degradation. His visions reveal that, at the time of final judgment, these angels will be severely punished, imprisoned, and condemned for their transgressions. The narrative serves as a powerful warning about the dangers of knowledge without responsibility and supernatural interference in the human world. This vision establishes the basis for understanding that every act of rebellion against divine laws brings irreversible consequences, and in the end, nothing goes unpunished. For Enoch, this corruption was not limited to the angels. Humanity, upon receiving these forbidden secrets, also strayed, adopting immoral and abusive practices. He envisions a world where God's judgment will not be solely against celestial beings, but also against humans who allowed themselves to be corrupted. This apocalyptic vision depicts an earth consumed by evil, where the final judgment approaches inevitably as a means to restore original order and punish those who defied the Creator. In his revelations, Enoch understands that the judgment will be terrible and comprehensive, as the divine plan aims not only to correct flaws, but also to create an eternal kingdom for the righteous. This promise of final restoration is a relief for the faithful, a guarantee that, despite the forces of evil, justice will prevail. Enoch's narrative then offers a glimpse of final redemption and the triumph of divine order over chaos, establishing a promise of eternal peace for those who remain faithful to God's precepts. The final judgment and the fate of souls. In his visions, Enoch receives impactful revelations about the final judgment, a moment of retribution in which each being will be judged for their actions. He describes a heavenly court where the righteous and the wicked will appear before God. For Enoch, this judgment is inevitable and absolute, a way to restore the moral and spiritual order of the universe. In his revelations, he envisions that the righteous will be rewarded with an eternity of peace and glory, while the wicked and corrupt will face eternal torment. Enoch's description of the final judgment brings an atmosphere of solemnity and fear. He sees the fallen angels being chained and cast into deep abysses, where they will suffer forever for their rebellion. This vision emphasizes God's role as the supreme judge, whose justice is relentless against those who rebelled. But for those who persevered in faith, Enoch envisions a glorious destiny, a heavenly kingdom where peace will reign forever. These visions not only warn about the consequences of sin, but also offer a promise of hope and redemption. Enoch relates that, during the judgment, humanity will be divided into two groups: the righteous, who will be elevated to a state of glory, and the unjust, who will be condemned to eternal suffering. This final separation reinforces the idea that the destiny of souls is determined by the choices made in life, and there is no escape from divine consequences. He emphasizes that divine justice does not fail, ensuring that evil will be eradicated and good will be rewarded, thus creating a new era of peace and order. Moreover, Enoch highlights that the final judgment will also purify the physical world, removing all corruption and preparing it for the kingdom of the righteous. This cosmic renewal reflects the divine desire to create a world where evil has no place, where only the faithful will enjoy eternal blessings. For Enoch, the end of times is not only a moment of judgment, but also the beginning of a new creation, an eternal reward for those who remained loyal to divine commandments. The promise of a future of peace and justice completes his apocalyptic visions, making them a message of hope and renewal. The promised Messiah and final redemption, Enoch, amid his visions of the end times, contemplates the arrival of a messianic figure who will play a vital role in the redemption of the righteous and the defeat of evil. This character, often called the Chosen One or the Son of Man in the Book of Enoch, is described as a spiritual and just leader, appointed by God to guide the faithful and establish a new kingdom of peace. For Enoch, the Messiah is more than a savior. He is the manifestation of divine justice, who will bring redemption to those who remain pure. According to Enoch's visions, this Messiah will arise at the moment when humanity most needs redemption. He will be an impartial judge, bringing the final separation between the good and the wicked. The righteous will be welcomed into a heavenly kingdom, while the wicked will face eternal condemnation. This messianic figure, for Enoch, is a powerful hope for the faithful, representing the definitive victory over evil and the restoration of a world in perfect harmony with divine will. The coming of the Messiah is therefore the climax of his visions, the moment when God's justice is fully realized. The figure of the Messiah in Enoch also highlights the importance of purity and faith. He believes that only those who have kept their hearts and souls aligned with divine teachings will be rewarded. This Messiah is not merely a leader, but a reflection of God's perfection and goodness, someone who has the power to restore order and bring eternal peace. For Enoch, this is the promise that fuels the faith of the faithful, a future where evil will be completely eradicated and goodness will triumph. Finally, the coming of the Messiah marks the beginning of an era of cosmic and spiritual renewal, in which the world will be restored to its original purity. Enoch envisions this era as a time when the righteous will live in perfect communion with the divine, free from corrupting influences and the sufferings imposed by sin. This vision of hope and eternal peace is the final reward for those who have walked the path of righteousness, establishing the promise of a radiant and perfect future, a sacred utopia. The influence of the Book of Enoch on religious traditions. The Book of Enoch exerts a powerful and lasting influence on various religious traditions, primarily in Judaism and early Christianity. Its visions and prophecies about final judgment and the Messiah have been profoundly impactful, offering a narrative about the end times that has shaped many later apocalyptic interpretations. In Judaism, despite the text eventually being excluded from the official canon, its ideas survived in various works and reflected in apocalyptic and messianic beliefs that influenced even the New Testament. In early Christianity, the Book of Enoch was considered an important source of spiritual teachings. Some of the central themes of the text, such as the rebellion of angels and the coming of the Messiah, resonate with early Christian beliefs. The references to Enoch's visions can be found in several New Testament passages, suggesting that early Christians were inspired by his prophetic message. This intertextuality highlights the significant role the Book of Enoch played in shaping the eschatological views of the early church. The legacy of Enoch, however, goes beyond mere historical influence. His visions continue to provoke debates and reflections today. Modern theologians and scholars revisit his work to understand the roots of eschatological and apocalyptic thought in religious traditions. The way he described the final judgment and the separation between the righteous and the wicked remains a fascinating theme, resonating with many current moral and ethical questions about justice and retribution. Enoch's narratives serve as reminders of the eternal struggles between good and evil, and the importance of remaining faithful to divine teachings. In summary, Enoch's prophetic visions and the Book of Enoch remain crucial to understanding the complex relationship between humanity, divine justice, and the hope of redemption. His writings not only provide a vivid portrayal of the end times, but also invite deep reflections on morality and human destiny. Through his work, we can explore significant questions about existence, faith, and the ultimate purpose of life, ensuring that the legacy of Enoch continues to enlighten and challenge future generations.